Taquan, you good?
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, Kirk, we'll let you start it off.
Taquan, Coach Herman said the tape on the defense looked as bad as he saw it on Saturday. Why do you feel the defense struggled so much?
I feel like we struggled to tackle, and uh, you're gonna struggle if you can't get guys on the ground. Like they have pretty good athletes, and they're getting a lot of yards after the catch, and we just have to get those guys on the ground. Honestly,
And what did Coach Ash have to say Sunday about the performance?
um, same thing. We got to tackle. We got to rep it more to get better at it. This is something that we have to do.
Was he mad? How would you describe his mood?
Wouldn't say he was mad. I would say he was disappointed in our tackling performance. We all know the standard that he holds us to, and he was disappointed that we didn't meet that standard. And that's something that we're going to work on all this week to fix that.
Dennis, go ahead.
Yeah, Daquan, along the lines of tackling, did Coach Ash kind of give you the impression that, hey, this is something that is fixable during a season, especially given the fact that you guys didn't really have an off season to shore this up?
Yes, he did assure us that this is something that is fixable. This is a technique thing. This is something that we have to apply to the game. That's all. And to help us apply this to the game, we're just going to do drill work, and we're going to get better at it, and we're going to do it day in and day out.
Mike, you're up.
Hey, Taquan, I just wanted to ask you the pressure part of this. It didn't seem like you guys were getting much pressure on Alan Bowman this past weekend. Is it something that they did differently, or is it something that you guys are going to continue to work on? Because obviously in the Big 12, there's going to be a lot of passing that is going on, and you're going to need to apply pressure. So what are you guys working on to get more pressure on the quarterback?
I just think we gotta stay solid in what we've been doing, and we gotta execute. I think this is all execution based. I just think we have to go out there and do it. I felt like Alan Bowman was getting the ball out pretty fast, and a lot of QBs in the Big 12 are going to do that. So I think this is something that we're going to have to realize, and something that we're going to have to go on the game and execute and get those one-on-one wins and get a lot of pressure on the QB.
Brian, go ahead.
Yeah, Taquan, now that you got a couple games under your belt, how would you describe moving inside and all the nuances that go along with that?
I don't know. I feel like I've played many different shades and techniques since I've been here. It's a little different than being a 5 technique. I feel like a 5 technique, everything happens a little bit slower when it comes to, per se, like pass rush or whatever. But when you're inside, it's like 1 or 2 steps, boom, you're right there, you're right in the action. It's something that you got to be pretty. It was a pretty smooth transition for me to make, because most of the time I've been playing the 4-eye since I've been here. So moving from a 4-eye to a 3 technique, it might be a little different what type of box that I get, but it's pretty much all the same to me.
Jeff, you're up.
Hey, so Quan, I wanted to ask you about the Chris Adamora interception return. I know Coach Herman's been big on when you get a turnover, guys turning into blockers. What did you guys learn from that? Just, he had a nice convoy, but a guy came from behind and made the play. Was that discussed at all in film, just in terms of, hey, making sure you take a good play but finish it off and maybe get a defensive score there?
It was briefly mentioned, and personally, I just think we got to see that guy and body him up. Of course, the right way. You can't peel back and, hit him. You'll get kicked out of the game. But he's taught us and told us different ways on how to, make those guys a non-factor, to block them kind of with your body. We just have to see that guy and, block them.
For you guys, though, like with the rule changes on, like you said, blindside blocks and peel backs and things, that's stuff that, how do you stay conscious of that in the moment? And does it kind of, muddy your mind up a little bit when you're wondering, hey, I got to do my job, but I can't get a penalty on this either?
I seen on film someone did it on the Chris Brown interception. They literally just threw their hands up and ran in front of the guy. So I think we've been doing a pretty good job at being conscious of it. It's something that's a part of our game now, and everyone knows it. Everyone's been educated on it now. It's something that was talked about. So I think we're pretty good at it now.
Nick, you're up.
Yeah, Taquan, just curious from the perspective of a defensive player, what is it like for you watching the film from a game where over 110 points are scored? I mean, I guess are you feeling angry? Are you upset? Are you humbled? Are you disappointed? I mean, what is it like for a defensive player to watch the tape from a game where it's just offense, offense, offense?
From our side of it, I would say I was disappointed about our performance. I'm not sad. I'm not angry about it. I just know that what we can do, and what we can do was not put on tape that last Saturday. So I just think it's a new week, and we're worried about TCU now. And I feel like the things that showed up in last game are things that we are working on to get fixed, and those things were addressed.
And just in terms of actually like watching that tape, I mean, was that one of the the hardest film sessions that you've had since you've been here?
Yes, that was one of the hardest discussions. Not because everything was bad or it was all bad. It's something that was so simple that could have helped us out so much, which was tackling, the technique that was taught to us, and a lot of it didn't show up that past Saturday. And our standard is to do the technique that we've been taught. So.
Danny, you got a question?
Yeah, hey TQ. You came in with Josh Thompson, 4 years ago. How would you describe him as a player and as a teammate?
Great teammate, great person. He's athletically, he's a freak. Pretty big corner, really, really fast, and he's a pretty intelligent player. He's had a lot of, ups and downs with, injuries since he's been here, and being moved around from corner to safety, back to corner. I felt like he's handled that transition perfectly.
Joe, go ahead.
Taquan, TCU starts a stretch of 3 games, TCU, OU, Baylor, and those teams all beat you last year. You get them at home with the exception of OU and Dallas, but starting with TCU, is that kind of something that the team might be thinking about, that if you want to get to where you want to go this year, not only do you have to win these games, you get to get a little revenge at the same time as well?
Something that has been brought up as a team whole is that we try to take things a week at a time, want to know mentality. So we're worried about TCU right now. And something that was brought up is that last week is over and this week is TCU, and that's what we're focusing on. And one thing that was brought up was that we did lose last year, and that for us to do what we want to do, we have to take it piece by piece. And the first piece is TCU. And we have to just focus on them and get everything going from there.
Marcus, you're up.
Yeah, TQ, I'm curious with playing against a running quarterback like Max Duggan and his ability with his feet. I think he led them in rushing last year. What does that change specifically about your assignment, and how does that change? Does it change your mentality when you're pass rushing?
I guess you have to be pretty conscious about it, but you have to balance all your rush lanes so he really doesn't have a wide lane to run through. And you definitely have to respect his feet because he's
Jeff, go ahead.
Yeah, TQ, just from facing TCU specifically, I know guys have talked about in the past that when you face TCU, you've got to play with the kind of a more of a physical edge. You got to kind of have that heightened sense of urgency. What is it about facing TCU that you need to really make sure you've got that physical edge with you going into the game?
Hang tight. Having some technical issues. Jeff, I'll just keep up to start that question over.
Okay.
Taquan, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Good. Go ahead, Jeff.
Yeah. TQ talked about going into the TCU game in years past, just needing to match or exceed their level of physicality. What is it about TCU specifically as an opponent that, you know, you've really got to make sure from a physicality standpoint that you really bring it in the game?
I feel like anytime that we play TCU that we have to get ready. They do come with a physicality and a toughness. They're a very tough team to play, and especially in years past when I played them, their offensive line has been, I don't know, pretty huge guys, and I don't know. I feel like you got to step up and, you know, play physical, not only just with TCU, but I feel like in our whole conference, you have to be a pretty physical guy.
Got two last questions. Start with Bob.
TQ, what makes Max Duggan special, and what did you learn last year facing him and what he brings to an offense?
I feel like let's talk about the last game they played against Iowa State. He has it seems like he makes that offense go. He has great feet. He can extend plays. He makes smart throws. I think he's a heck of a player, and I think he's a heck of a leader too. And I think what he brings to the offense is that, I don't know, he just knows how to win. It seems like he knows how to get things going.
Last one. Go ahead, Danny.
Hey, TQ, why do you think you guys get everybody's best? That's something that's often said by not only football players, but athletes in different sports. What makes Texas the school everyone's gunning for in this conference?
Maybe it's because they don't like us. I really don't know the answer, because it does seem like we get everyone's best shot, and that's something I feel like we wear with a badge of honor. We want everyone's best shot. Because we are the competitors we say we are, we want everyone's best, and we're just gonna go out there and compete. So.
Thank you, TQ. Appreciate your time.
No problem.